School committee candidates, of which we have three who are interested in 2 3-year seats on the school committee. And I think we've got a slide showing you who they are: Justin McCarthy, Jen Gold, and Jennifer Ann Wilson. And I think they're all here tonight, so you'll see their faces shortly. Okay. All right, I see Justin and I see Jen. Welcome to both of you. Do we know if our third candidate? There she is. And there's Jennifer Wilson, who's our third candidate. Welcome to all three of you. We've got a number of questions for the school committee candidates. As is our custom, we'll start off with 3-minute opening statements from each of you. So I'm just going to go in the order you're appearing on my screen. We'll start with you, Justin, for the opening statement.
Yep. Good evening. My name is Justin McCarthy, and I'm your candidate for re-election to the Littleton School Committee. I'd like to thank the Rotary Club for hosting tonight, and I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself. My wife and I moved to Littleton 3 years ago to start our family. We're raising 3 young children. I've got a 3rd grade daughter, 2nd grade son, and another daughter at the Shaker Lane Preschool who will be attending tuition-free kindergarten next year. So yay to the school committee and the administration for seeing that goal through. One of the reasons we moved to Littleton was the quality of the school system. I could tell early on that the school system was on the rise and that all of us with children in the schools would benefit greatly if we could keep making improvements. If you know me, I'm the type of person who likes to get involved. So here I am, completely involved, coming off a year like no other that has ever been seen before by any school committee until this year. It's been an incredibly challenging year for all stakeholders related to public education. Over the past 10 months, I've worked tirelessly among the other school committee members and the administration. We've set a record for the most amount of meetings, the longest meetings, and the highest level of community participation. My platform for re-election is based upon 3 simple points. Number 1, I commit to improving the quality of the educational experience for our students at a tremendous value for our taxpayers. With a degree and background in finance and accounting, I provide significant experience on the budget subcommittee. I feel that the school system receives its fair share of the town's tax dollars. We will need to continue to seek to create creative ways to maximize our dollars spent to further enhance the quality of our educational offerings. It's the role of a strong school committee member to continue to ask the administration for constant improvement. I'm confident in my ability to ask difficult questions and help problem solve our way to providing our students with a best-in-class school district. Number 2, I commit to being an active listener and an advocate for your child or children. This past year, we saw 5-hour meetings, hundreds of emails, and thousands of survey results. I read your emails, writing back to many of you, and I pored over survey results, gaining a clear understanding of the needs of our community. I engaged in countless conversations on many topics, but none more prevalent than the topic of in-person learning. I'm very reachable and relatable. If your voice is not being heard, please contact me directly. Hearing from and helping parents advocate for their child is the best part of the job. Last, but certainly not least, I have the confidence to make difficult decisions that are in the best interest of our community. This past year, we've all been tested. The school committee has never had a greater responsibility than this past year related to public health and the delivery of instruction. When it came time to decide how to start the school year, I understood and knew the value of in-person learning. I advocated strongly that we act in the best interest of our students and begin the year with a hybrid model for those who desired in-person learning. Okay, I will.
That's time. Thank you. We'll hear next from Jen Gold.
Thank you to the Rotary Club for hosting tonight's event, and thank you, Justin, for your past year of service. We all appreciate it very much. My name is Jen Gold, and I hope to earn your vote on May 8th for Littleton School Committee. As the mom of 2 kids in Littleton schools, I'm running for school committee because I believe I can make a positive difference in our town and our schools. I'll make decisions through the lens of what's best for Littleton students of all ages. I'll ensure that we use science, data, and common sense to make decisions, and I'll work with urgency to get things done. Over the past month, I've made a point to speak with many leaders in our community to understand their areas of focus and concern. I've spoken with Superintendent Clinchy, most of the school committee members and principals, members of the Select Board, Planning Board, Finance Committee, Police Chief Matt Pinard, and more. I just think it's critical to understand how all the moving pieces in our town interact and how the school committee can be as effective as possible. Having always been a strong advocate for my own kids, I now want to be an advocate for all the kids and families of our town. Additionally, my background and experience uniquely qualify me for this job. The past year has shown us how challenging times call for creative and proactive solutions, which are things I can bring to the table. Throughout my career, I've always been known as the get things done person on any team, someone who makes a plan with specific goals and works to make sure that plan is executed on time and successfully. I'll bring this same roll up your sleeves attitude to our school committee to make sure we're not only talking about ideas to make our schools better, but actually putting those ideas into action. The school committee is responsible for 3 things: hiring the superintendent, managing the budget, and setting policy. And over the course of my 25-year career at companies including Allstate, Pearson Education, New York Times, TripAdvisor, and more, I've had extensive experience in all 3 of these areas. I've managed teams large and small and been responsible for vetting, hiring, and onboarding people with all sorts of backgrounds. Managing teams also requires a lot of consensus building and sometimes compromise and trade-offs to get things done. I've also been responsible for more budgets than I can count and had to report and justify results to senior management. And finally, as someone in a management role myself, I've had to set policy and plans tied to specific measurable goals and deliver on those goals to ensure plans are carried out. It's these skills combined with my passion for our town's kids and their education that make me uniquely qualified for school committee. Finally, I'd like to share the 4 key points of my platform. I'm going to talk fast. 1, in-person education is essential, and now that the kids are back in school, we must focus on helping them navigate the emotional, social, and academic effects of the past year. 2, we must put the needs of our kids first and look at all decisions through the lens of what's best for kids and their families. 3, facts and data along with common sense and community input from all perspectives should be utilized in decision-making on school policy. And finally, proactive planning and creative thinking are critical, and flexible outside-the-box strategies should be used whenever needed to implement the best solutions for our kids. Thank you for your time, and please vote for me, Jen Gold, on May 8th.
Okay, thank you, Jen. We'll now hear from Jennifer Wilson.
Good evening, Littleton, and thank you to the Rotary Club again for hosting tonight's candidate night. Also, thank you to LCTV for hosting. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Jennifer Wilson, and I'm running for school committee. Education is the most important institution we have in Littleton. Our schools are where young people come together to learn and grow into responsible citizens. We have the job of ensuring each of our students has the same opportunity to succeed. I'm running for school committee because I believe I have the experience and initiative to ensure Littleton schools policies are inclusive, equitable, and supportive of all students. Before becoming a mother, I worked as a project manager of educational software, and I led teams of curriculum experts to develop online college courses. Since having my 2 kids, I decided to go back to school to become a nurse. I was accepted into nursing school just as the pandemic began, of course, and I will graduate next year. Since the start of the pandemic, having higher education experience in science and healthcare has become crucial. My current healthcare and science background give me the ability to understand the needs of our school community. The health and well-being of Littleton and the students is a top priority of mine. During my previous term as a school committee member, I focused on making decisions that would benefit all students in Littleton. It's important to me to ensure that the entire student population has equitable access to Littleton's high-quality education. I closely follow current education practices and policies as I want our schools to be a leader in this area. I'm a progressive thinker. I follow educational and healthcare research closely, and I will work hard to ensure Littleton standards remain high. I've built trusting relationships with the community and administration. And back in 2017, Justin and I worked together to bring free full-day kindergarten to Littleton. So this next year will be the first year all of Littleton students will have equitable access to succeed from the start. Littleton school systems are one of the reasons we moved to Littleton a decade ago, so long time. Our schools are some of the best in the state, but there's always room for growth. Since educational needs have changed drastically over the past year, we have to ensure that schools are a safe and healthy space for all of our students as we crawl out of this pandemic. For example, our students will definitely need more attention on their mental health than in past years. I'll advocate for a task force of educators, mental health experts, students, parents, and administrators to ensure that student well-being is the top priority. We have to be prepared to serve each student's specific needs. I will promote new programs for teachers and students that will foster a diverse and equitable learning environment in the areas, including health, culture, and diversity, as well as social responsibility. And to keep up with the needs of 21st century education, Littleton must support true inclusive education. Thank you, and I hope to have your vote on May 8th. Jennifer Wilson.